is a Priory presentation in association with all WNY News Radio.
It's another week of the Nick and Dan Show, Season 2, bitches! Starring your hosts, Nick and that lovable motherfucker, Dan. Not to mention myself, Carl Winslow. And featuring Think So Joe. Today's episode, Nick and Dan are joined by Drew Celestino of The Long Cold Dark. Coming off their 10-year anniversary show, Drew is in to talk about the band, the future, gear, and more. Ready? Here we go.
What are these things? Hit me! They're after me! Ah! Wait. Is this Nick and is this Dan? What happened to Nick and Dan? You're watching the Nick and Dan Show! Here they are!
Hi, I'm Nick. I know things. Beach Boys, 34 years old.
That's a great impression of me.
Yeah, you'll get this 36 and okay. And when you do,
I sing rocks and rolls.
They apparently sound like a Muppet.
Kermit the Frog's got a side gig, man.
I guess so. And it's me.
Yeah.
Yup.
Absolutely.
Drew, what the fuck is up, brother?
what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Welcome to the Nick and Dan Show.
This is what it is, huh?
It is. This is pretty much it.
This is everything in its glory.
Yep.
Behold.
It's a very impressive room.
It is an impressive room.
We stole it.
Totally stole it.
And we just get abandoned here and, we're good to go.
You know, it's good times.
There
It's
you
good
go.
times. So, everybody, we got Drew from the Long Cold Dark with us today to hang out in the not Rust Belt Chop Shop. I keep wanting to say that, and it's been a whole season now.
You're retarded. I don't know what to say.
I mean, that's possible. There we go. We can check those people off on people that hate us. Again, send hate mail to 1625 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York, care of Scott Leffler.
That's right. So, anywho, The Long Cold Dark, 3 albums, 10 years, go. Sorry, it was the Larry King School of Interview.
Right, just leave it wide open. Not even a question there. Just
He was also
go.
ancient, didn't want to really do any research.
True, yeah, he just read the front and the back cover and
Right.
like a random page in the center.
To be fair, it's 2 albums and an EP.
Okay.
See?
Don't let our long songs fool you. It's just an EP.
You guys do notoriously write long songs. I remember Joe Kent cracking jokes about it, like how, where was he driving to, like Rochester or something? He's like, I got through one Long Cold Dark song.
That's my favorite game.
That's not inaccurate.
I like that, though. It's a cool approach to writing.
It is and it's not. Like, it doesn't, I don't intend for it to be that way,
Mhm.
but, like, I also like to let riffs go and, you want to get the headbang effect before someone starts talking to you.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
that's kind of why things just kind of keep building on top of each other. So there's some limited filtering going on in the new writing sessions, and even on the last EP on Captive Audience, like there was a slight effort to consolidate a little bit, and we didn't quite pull it off. On a couple songs, I think we did, but then like even like our favorite song on that, I think it's our favorite anyway, is Undefined. And like the song itself is probably about 4-ish minutes, but then we ended up tacking on like a 4-minute outro. So it happens.
We know nothing about that at all.
We don't.
It was by accident, like kind of, because I wrote the whole song, and then at the end of the demo that I did at home, I was just like, okay, well it's over, and I had still tracking, and I ended up just doing this little riff, and I didn't think too much of it. I faded it out, and then I sent the demo off to Jason, and he heard it, and he's just like, "There's a riff on the end there." I'm like, I don't know. And basically, at his request and demand, we kind of made that into the whole outro of the song. So
Yeah, I like it.
That's cool, man.
like 8 minutes like that. Especially
Like I
once
said.
he put his leads over it, it sounded awesome.
Right.
I'm like, oh, we can just fade out on that for 5 minutes.
Oh, it's like I said, it's my favorite game. Every time I drive to Rochester, see how many Long Cold Dark songs I can fit in one-way trip.
Well, if it's, what, 45 minutes to an hour?
Yeah,
That's about,
6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Mm.
Although the last time we went to, Joe Kent was actually in the car. Went to Rochester. I think we were following or going out to see Inherent Vice when they opened up for Head PE.
Yeah.
I put my iPod on shuffle. All we wanted to hear was a Long Cold Dark song. All the way there and back to drop Joe Kent off. Never played until I hit the Grand Island Bridge coming home. And I live just 5 minutes down the road. So it's just a funny little story. It didn't play until I hit my house pretty much. So I had to sit in the driveway and listen to Long Cold Dark.
So you're just that weird guy sitting in the driveway for like 10 minutes with your car on.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Listen,
It was alright though. It had to
sometimes
be
you gotta
done.
listen to tunes.
Yeah, I do that.
It was a Rochester trip, man. Long Cold Dark had to be played.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to be part of the trip.
The 10 years, man, that's fucking impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are in a band, so you understand like the war of will that it is to keep a band together and to keep going on through member changes and life changes and mental state changes. And, so it's really hard. It's been really hard, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's been that hard. Like we've had the same core group for like the last 8 of those 10 years.
Right.
Like me and Jason are always going to be like the core, but Adam is too now because he's been in the band for 8 years. Like the 3 of us are the constant, and then it just kind of comes down to which drummer is playing for us this week. So, unfortunately, but that's, I hate to say it, but it's like if you play in a band in this town, you know for a fact that drummers are few and far between, good ones anyway.
Yes.
And they can, because they're so rare, they can kind of pick their own gig. And,
Mm-hmm.
if someone's not feeling what we're doing, they can easily join something that they would be better off in. That's totally fine. Like,
Right.
You know.
Oh yeah, sometimes good riddance, it's better for them to be doing what they like and
Absolutely.
they're happy and then you're happy as opposed to having that one element that just drags everything down.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. If someone's not into it, then, hey, find something that makes it happy, I guess.
Right.
It's, I'm not going to, like, twist your arm to stick around or anything if you're miserable. Like, that's kind of lame.
Right, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's been difficult, but, we just keep on keeping on, I guess, and keep writing new stuff. And we are writing new stuff and have been, but because we had a drummer turnover,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got a new drummer, which is awesome because it's an old drummer for like Jason and I. It's someone that we played with together for the first time back in high school.
Okay.
And then things kind of went where they went, and Jason and him, his name's Guido, by the way. Jason and Guido kind of stuck together for a little while after that, and then their band kind of dissipated, I guess. And then for the last 8 to 10 years, he hasn't been doing much and was in a couple bands locally, but I don't know that they did a whole lot. So the opportunity kind of came where he was ready to join up with us, and we had just lost our drummer, so yep, come on in. And it's awesome because he's a friend, and he plays excellent, and the 3 of us are really tight, and it just feels really good in the room to have that dynamic again. So it's pretty cool. But the thing is, like, we were gearing up, ready to go, and we went to the Machine Head show on Valentine's Day, and he ended up getting like trucked in the mosh pit and messed up his foot.
Oh.
So he was out of action for like 6 weeks. So we had a show, by the way, in that time. So we had to bring in another drummer, the first drummer of the band actually, Zach Del Morel.
Okay.
He's been in a bunch of bands for forever now. He's awesome. He can do anything. He can play guitar, play drums. He's killer. But he swooped in and he's like, he knew a lot of the songs because, like I said, he was in the band. So he swooped in and bailed us out that show. So yeah, the drummer delay. Weeks went on after that show, and then finally Guido got healthy again, and then we can get back on track with getting ready for the 10th anniversary show. But also, for a good stretch there, we were working on recording a new song. So that's we have one song that's in the works right now. It's
Okay.
about 85% recorded. Vocals and lead guitars still aren't done. So, but I can do one thing at a time.
Right.
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
That's crazy, man. Now, you personally, I mean, 10 years is a long time for an individual. You know, the guy you were 10 years ago to the guy you are now, you know, what's the difference there?
I mean, I've been playing in bands locally for longer than that.
Right.
I've been playing since I was in high school, so what's that, 20 years now? So 10 in this one band, which is awesome. Like, I can't imagine being in another band besides this one. Am I the same person now? No, not really. At least I hope not. Put it that way. And you know, the person I was in when the band started, I tried to mentally try to be different than the person I was in the band before that.
Okay.
There was some very conscious things going on when the band started. I wanted a different sound. I wanted a different dynamic. I wanted better players. I don't know. But I also wanted to kind of not be quite so iron fisty and run the ship so tightly. But I kind of inevitably do anyway. But I mean, when the Long Cold Dark started, I consciously tried to not be that way to varying degrees of success. And then, you know, there definitely came a point in the first few years where I really checked out's the wrong word, but like, I mean, I drive the ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I tried to not impose too much of my will on people in the band and dictate how things should be played and
Right.
you know, things like that. Like, you know, I had ideas and suggestions and, you know, a vibe, but I wasn't gonna be like, no, stop, you played that fill wrong or something. You know what I mean? So I definitely tried to just be less like that. I don't know if it worked or not, but I know I felt like I've been trying to not be that way. But, you know, sometimes that can lead to everyone just kind of taking a little relaxed vibe, and then nothing really gets done. And then someone has to kind of swoop in and be like, okay, we got to get serious for a minute now. And
Right. Yeah, it loses direction a little bit.
Right.
And
so
If you want to hear more from the Nick and Dan Show, tune in weekly at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on allwnyradio.com for 2 length-hour podcasts, unhindered interviews, and musical performances. allwnyradio.com. Are you looking for a photographer to come in and make an excellent look of a photo shoot? Do you need somebody to take pictures for promotional purposes, or just because you like your photo taken? Well, now you could be just like Exham Priory. Get a hold of K&D Photography in Buffalo. You can look them up online at facebook.com/KD Photography Buffalo. Look them up online and let them know that Exham Priory sent you on down. K&D Photography for all your photo needs. Are you looking for a place to drop anchor and have a cold one? Come on down to the River Pub, where the drinks are cheap and the atmosphere is good. 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York, where you can hang out inside or enjoy the atmosphere outside on the patio. But also, if you're not just satisfied with a drink, you can grab some grub at the pub, right next door at Submariners.
We pride ourselves with amazing quality products with generous portions.
So whether you're looking for food or a drink, follow them on Facebook at the River Pub Niagara, or you can also check out Submariners LaSalle Deli. Stop on in, the River Pub or Submariners, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. See you down at the pub. Hi there. This is Nick from Dan Nick's Used Guitar Emporium. I know what y'all are thinking out there. Down there at that little small shop, all they got is about 4 guitars and that's about it. You're wrong. Need yourself a microphone? Think you're not fucking loud enough? You're right. You need to be louder so everybody can hear you. Grab this microphone right here. You can hold it like this. like this. Or, if you want to be an asshole, like this. Need cables? Got them bitches too. Come on down to Dan and Nick's Used Guitar Emporium, where you can make your ass louder.
Are you ready to get saucy? Well, Friday, August 31st, 2018, all WNY gets a little bit yellower as Yellow Sauce releases its first studio album, The Ballad of Bob Paul. Be one of the very first to own this new album as Yellow Sauce rocks, stamps the bar, 98 Main Street, Tonawanda, New York, 8 p.m. start. Come early and check awesome bands like Don Roth, Janie Crash and the Tall Man, and Exham Priory. All WNY presents Yellow Sauce CD Release Party. Ages 21 and up with ID and stamps the bar. Friday, August 31st. $5 in advance, $7 day of the show. Contact the bands for ticket details.
We met the wizards on the mountaintop.
So take us back to the beginning, man. It's like, what, 98? Long Cold Dark is in its infancy?
No. Long Cold Dark didn't take a twinkle in the eye until around 2000 and... Well, this is 10 years, so 2008, 2007, 2008. We played our first show in 2008. We played in Cleveland, Ohio. It was our first show.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We have our friends in Cleveland, Days Beneath. Our good friend Phil Boyle. Phil Boyle's like the unofficial/official fifth member of the band. So he was, at the time when the band was starting, we had a drummer, we had me and Jason, no bass player. Phil was a good friend from ESP Guitar Forum back in the day. It's a cesspool now. Don't bother. But back in the day, it was the most insane, awesome community to be a part of on this guitar forum. And I know a lot of guys to this day from that forum, and they're like some of my closest friends. So they're from all over the country. But anyway, Phil was in Cleveland. He liked us. We were buddies. He's a super cool guy. And he's like, I'll play bass for you if you need help getting things rolling. So we're like, okay, cool. Because Phil's awesome. So yeah, we want to have him around. So he helped us out on bass, and then we ended up, he booked the show in Cleveland. His band was going to play, and he was like, you guys want to come down and play? Okay, sure. Let's make a live debut, in Cleveland. And that's kind of what we did. And from then on, there we were. But, before that, talking 98, God, Jason and I were in our first band, period, either of us, together with Guido. So that was back in high school. We were called Shattered, and then that kind of dissipated. And then I bounced around for a little bit trying to find people for my next band, which became Dark Alone. Dark Alone played a lot of shows. Well, a lot, I don't know, 10, 15 shows. It lasted about a year. No, it had to be more than a year. Maybe 5 years. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to remember, actually.
Things get hazy a little bit.
Things get hazy.
Yeah,
That
I understand.
Honest to God, that era for me is really very weird. It's like we were doing it, but I never felt like we were really doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was trying to do it, but the guys I had in the band were really serious, or they weren't that serious. They weren't pulling much weight in the I'm in this band, so I represent front, It was kind of like they showed up to practice and they would talk the big game, but they wouldn't really do much besides that. And I never really felt like that band was going in the direction I wanted it to go. Just never really felt like it was what I intended it to be. It was just guys I played with and tried to, I tried to steer it my way, but it never really went that way, and it was very weird. But towards the end of it, we added Zach Del Morel as a second guitar player, and that was kind of cool because Zach and I had a lot more. It felt like we had a much tighter bond than I had with the other guys. And the band broke up because eventually I wasn't feeling it anymore.
Right.
But me and Zach kind of still talked, and we started jamming together, him on drums, me on guitar, and that was like the foundation of the Long Cold Dark. Like, it started right there. And that was around 2000, I think 2007. 06, 07, somewhere in there. And we wrote, I wrote, and he played drums. I'm trying to think that he co-wrote anything. Again, it's hard to remember. But the jams from that came a few songs that are on the first Long Cold Dark record.
Okay.
But like even that didn't last. Like we played a few shows with Zach and stuff, and then and Phil. But then Zach left, and then we were kind of like, well, now what do we do? And we got lucky, and we found Mitch Krieger, who really was a great fit for the band in so many ways, and he killed. He was just fantastic. And that's the iteration of the group I was talking about. Where we were really tight, we were
Right.
really on top of things, and yeah, that was good time. So
Nice.
it's all good times, but that was a very particularly like memorable time.
Okay. Nice. Now the name, The Long Cold Dark. Any particular origin to it? Did it just sound cool? All the above?
Well, both, yeah.
I mean, it's a badass name. I gotta say that it's a badass name for a band.
Well, I can't take credit for it exactly. So I'm a big comic book reader,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time, Garth Ennis was doing. He's a comic book writer, a great comic book writer. He was doing one of the final arcs on the Punisher Max series.
Okay.
So Punisher Max is like the it's outside of like the Marvel universe. It's just the Punisher. There's no other superheroes or anything. It's just like he's real, like the world that it's in, like the real world.
Okay.
And awesome series, like phenomenal, one of the best ever. And one of the last arcs was called Long Cold Dark, and I just thought that sounds really cool. And I had another name picked out for the band at the time that I was flirting with, and like Long Cold Dark. The comic strip was just called Long Cold Dark, so I put The Long Cold Dark, and I thought it sounded a little cooler. But mostly because I didn't want it to I don't like the abbreviation to be LCD because it's like my TV or something.
Right.
What are we? Are we technology? No. So The Long Cold Dark TLC. Oh, okay. Well, it's different now. So whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where it came from. I just thought it sounded really, really cool, and it implies like just a enduring, brutal, bad time. So you can take that emotionally, or you can be like, it could be the experience of listening to us. However you want to approach it, I guess. But it just sounded pretty cool. And we live in Buffalo, New York, for God's sake, and it's like the winter is 9 months long. So
Yeah.
Long Cold Dark. Yeah, it works.
It works on
plays.
so many fucking levels.
The Long Cold Dark is the entire month of February.
Yep.
And March, December,
January,
half of April sometimes.
Right.
November, sometimes October.
And we're getting there.
We are.
So yeah, that was kind of it. It played, and the fact I was a little weirded out that like my previous band was Dark Alone, and I was like, oh no, Long Cold Dark. And so how come you gotta be so dark, man?
Yeah.
Because it's fucking metal, man.
Well, there is that, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta be that. I'm not the one who's gonna be like, it's gotta be like Corpse Slain Nun or something like that, because
It's gotta be Puppy Rainbow.
it's not my band.
So was that the other name that you were flirting with, or?
It was something else that was kind of mysterious and weird. We'll keep that in the pocket for now.
Fair enough.
Just in case I revive it down the road. Then you'll know.
A little side project. Okay.
Can't talk about that.
All right. Fair enough.
Fair enough. So now the actual recording of the albums, where does that take place? Because you said you have a home studio.
Yeah. So the first record was at my studio in my old house. It's called Cobra Island Studios. Cobra Island Studios is basically wherever I am. So that's my studio. And then Jason has Shapeshifter Studios. His whole garage was converted. Him and his father are both musicians. So they turned their garage into a studio. So there is a room and there is a control room. So it's got the glass and it snake through the wall with we can wire up and everything, and it's a great space for us. We've rehearsed there for the better part of a decade. So that's been our headquarters. So we did Infinity Record and Captive Audience EP we recorded there, and also now we're recording whatever we're doing now there as well.
Okay.
Vocals and stuff I can still do at home, so I'm probably gonna end up doing vocals at home on this one. And I'm in the process of rebuilding my entire basement right now is under construction. So I framed it all out, drywall's up, sanded, ready for paint, but I still have to do some work. I gotta paint the ceiling, paint the floor, then paint the walls, put up trim, put in doors and stuff, and then that will be Cobra Island Studios version 3. So that'll be exciting. So we'll see what gets done there.
Are you looking for your next amplifier? Are you trying to redefine your sound? Do you need that piece of equipment to complement your amazing guitar playing? Well, look no further. Bison Electronics has what you need. Look up Bison Electronics online. Handmade from the ground up in Buffalo, New York.
Fuckers, it's Dan from Dan and Nick's Used Guitar Emporium. Guess what we just got in? This motherfucker right here. You see this goddamn thing? This is what we like to call an extreme bass. Do you know why we call it an extreme bass? Because it's in the shape of a fucking X. It's so fucking metal. And obviously, I know metal. Like Nickelback and Katy Perry. And for reference, that latest Katy Perry album was fucking bonkers. It'll melt your goddamn face from the inside like a firework. See this thing right here? The headstock is pointy. So when you're in your fucking metal bands, you can impale your enemies. You can put their fucking corpse heads right on the goddamn guitar and play on the fucking stage with their heads on the guitar. Now I know what you're thinking. Dan, that bass has only got 2 strings. And you're fucking right. Do you want to know why it's only got 2 strings? A, it's rare. B, are you a bass player? Do you want to take your Delta Death, sludgecore, sewer grind, new metal band to new heights? Do you want to take your guitars and your basses and drop them to Q quarter flat? This fucker will do it right here. Because if you're going that low, you need room between the strings to move. Otherwise, you're just going to slap together and sound like shit. Filthy from corn. So, come on down to Dan and Nick's Used Guitar Emporium where we have this rare 2-string bass. Could be yours. And it's fucking extreme. So Drew, this awesome custom Explorer style guitar you have.
I've got a few. That's pretty much all I play now.
I know.
Yep.
Tell us about them, man.
Well, James Hetfield,
Papa Hat.
Seattle, 1989. I have a visage in my head of that home video. James Hetfield, the white Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
Eat fuck Explorer, right? Is ESP. So I've wanted one of those for like my entire life. So the Explorer has kind of been like I have to have Explorers. I couldn't, for various reasons, I couldn't afford them growing up, and various manufacturers, it's a long story. Gibson was the one that made them, they were really expensive. ESP made them, they were even more expensive. I had an LTD one, that was my first Explorer actually, and it just sounded thin and weak, and it just didn't have any personality or character, so I got rid of it. So when I finally did get a Gibson Explorer in my 20s, it was a white Gibson Explorer, the 1984 reissue with the MGs. They couldn't call it a Hetfield signature, but that's kind of what it was. So I had that guitar, I loved it, and at the same time I was getting more and more interested in building guitars. And as luck would have it, my friend Adam Block had a full wood shop in his basement, and he had built guitars before, so he kind of took me under his wing a little, and we built my first custom guitar, which is a satin black Explorer based on my Gibson. So I haven't played that one out in a long time, but that is like my main writing guitar actually. Like I wrote most of the Infinity Record and probably all of Captive Audience on that guitar. That guitar is like it's my go-to guitar. So we built the satin black one, And then we also then built Luigi, who that's for people who know, it's my green flame top explorer. That one I decided I wanted to do a custom headstock on that, so I designed my own headstock again with Adam's help, and we built Luigi. And Luigi's awesome too because it just looks really. It's green. I wanted a green explorer. Green's like my favorite
Right.
color, so
Why not?
It had to happen. So that's like my other goat. That was my goat during like as soon as I got it. That became like my main guitar for quite a long time. So now I do not have the time to invest into building anymore. I wish I did, but it's very labor intensive, and I do not have the availability to do it. But I do know people. So my friend Rob Robinson, again from the ESP board, he lives in San Diego, and our custom guitars is his handle. So look him up on Instagram and stuff like that. James Hetfield follows on Instagram, by the way. Sorry, excuse me. He does really, really awesome custom work. So I've wanted one of his guitars for a long time, and eventually I finally was able in a position to where I could get one. So he had one that he was doing, and I was like, I want it. So he built me it's a MX 220, which is the Seattle 1989 James Hetfield shape. There's the 220 and there's the 250. The 220 is the original ESP Explorer shape that they made for Hetfield. The 250 came a few years later, and it's a little pointier, a little more refined. You'll see that. That's a black album era one. Whereas,
Right.
Like the 220 is like the 80s. I know a lot about Explorers. The 220 is the original, and I wanted a 220. It's also a little smaller, so it looks a little better on my not so large stature frame. So he built me an MX 220, and I had it done in white, and that's now like my main guitar. It sounds fantastic. Like Rob really did a great job on it. So it's my best sounding Explorer for sure. And I don't have the Gibson. I sold the Gibson recently, actually. Very bittersweet. I didn't want to, but I also realized that like I was babying it. I wasn't playing it. I was kind of like taking care of it and wishing nothing to happen to it.
Right.
You know what? What am I doing here? So
Right.
I let it go, and now it's in the wild somewhere. And maybe someday it'll come back to me, but I doubt it.
Make a little baby Gibsons.
I'm waiting on another Rob guitar right now. I would
Nice.
have it already, but there was a bit of a tragedy on the West Coast with shipping from the painter back to Rob, so it did not survive completely intact from the shipping. So
Oh, wow.
it's now being redone to a degree, which sucks. But when it's done, it's going to be quite the showstopper.
Nice.
Yeah, it's an idea that I had for a long, long time, and we finally made it happen. So when it's done, it's going to be. But for now, it's a bit of an open wound right now, but we're fixing it, so it's okay.
Nice.
Yeah, the Explorers rule. I like Explorers a lot, but I mean, I like older guitars too. I have the first album I tracked on a Gibson Les Paul Studio. That thing still sounds to this day awesome. It was the last year. The one I got was the last year that they made them before they completely started hollowing out the insides.
Yeah,
so
it
it's
felt like a fucking Les Paul.
Yeah,
You could
right,
club
right.
you could club a grizzly to death with the fucking thing, it'd still be fine.
basically, yeah. And it's it's not even an expensive model. It's like the warm brown finish and everything. It's a studio, but it's sonically like legit. So that one's pretty awesome. And then I have a real soft spot for Telecasters. So I have a PV Tele copy. So it's called the Reactor or something like that.
Yep, I remember those.
Made in USA, PV guitar. Plays great, sounds awesome. I put some good pickups in it. And I like it a lot, but I would like to get a couple real Fender ones at some point. So we'll see. Money is financially, man. I have a hard time justifying more guitars because I already have like several. So
I feel you.
Yeah.
I had a phase where it was just like I gotta get more. I gotta get more. And now I'm kind of like getting out of that phase. Like, all right, I got what I got. If there's something I really, really want, all right, we'll see if I can make it happen.
Right.
As him and I are the same way. We do like goofy spoof commercials on the show. Dan and Nick's used Guitar Emporium. We both brought like a portion of the guitars we both own and lined the whole wall over here. And this was only a portion of them. In fact, one of mine is still here. I got a lot of weird stuff for guitars over the years.
My first couple guitars were BC Rich Warlocks, actually.
Okay, now see that one there, and guys, you can't see it. Well, I'll show you a photo later or something.
It's the Rave.
That's right. It's a Rave. It's before they started calling it. It's before they changed the actual name.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, that thing's archaic, and it used to have frets, but somebody who shall remain nameless.
Wasn't me, man.
No, I know it wasn't you, but I'm not going to name names. Thought, fretless bass, so I just take the frets out. No, they found out that's not how it works at all.
Scale length and other things.
Yeah. So, now it's just kind of a decorative piece.
Sure.
Decorative piece. There's some stickers on there, though I wish I hadn't wasted on that. But whatever. It's cool. But no, yeah, guitars. Now, for guitars, do you name yours?
The custom ones I name.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're just kind of like whatever, the PV or
All right.
I've got a showpiece. This thing's never leaving my possession. I have an ESP Eclipse. It's a custom run from like 2007. I've wanted this guitar for the longest time. There's only 6 of them in the world, and it's a full 2 Les Paul spec ESP custom made in Japan.
Right.
Silver burst.
Okay.
So I keep that thing under lock and key. But anyway, that one is that's just the silver burst. I don't have a name for it, but all my customs have names.
Okay.
Well, actually, that's not true. The white one doesn't.
Something to think about.
I'm open to suggestions, I guess. But the black one, I called it Dark Explorer for a little while. Satin black. Yeah, sure.
It's obvious.
The green one, obviously, Luigi. It's like that big.
Yep.
And the white one doesn't have a name.
All right.
So,
I'm going to have to say we just very simply call it James.
James.
But it's got to be spelled with a Y.
Yeah, right. And a Z.
Yep.
Yeah.
YZ.
I like it.
We'll see.
Drew, it's been awesome having you
Yeah,
here
it's fun,
today, man. And I look forward to what's coming up next with Long Cold Dark. I can't wait to fucking hear the new music you guys are working on. Soon, everybody. Soon.
When will soon be now?
Then. Oh, I can't remember the next line. Fuck, what is it?
Well, we're already screwed up.
Yeah, whatever. You guys know what we were referencing. But up next, we're going to give you a little bit of the Long Cold Dark. Drew, rock on, brother.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
See you, brother.
Cool.
If you want to hear more from the Nick and Dan Show, tune in weekly at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on allwnyradio.com for 2 length-hour podcasts, unhindered interviews, and musical performances. allwnyradio.com.
Are you ready to get saucy? Well, Friday, August 31st, 2018, all WNY gets a little bit yellower as Yellow Sauce releases its first studio album, The Ballad of Bob Paul. Be one of the very first to own this new album as Yellow Sauce rocks, stamps the bar, 98 Main Street, Tonawanda, New York, 8 p.m. start. Come early and check awesome bands like Don Roth, Janie Crash and the Tallman, and Exham Priory. All WNY presents Yellow Sauce CD Release Party. Ages 21 and up with ID at Stamps the Bar. Friday, August 31st. $5 in advance, $7 day of the show. Contact the bands for ticket details.
We met the wizard on a mountaintop.
Alright, you motherfuckers, you stuck around. Now here's music from The Long Cold Dark.
Greatest, the greatest, the
long, cold, dark, and we always will be.
And that's all from the Nick and Dan Show for this week. Be sure to tune in on the YouTube channel at Exham Priory for Tuesday Antics, plus the full extended version every Thursday on allwnyradio.com.